Hi everybody. Today I thought I should come on and share some information that has been propagating in itself over some time now, for quite some time, for many lifetimes I actually think. Information that has been with you, with how you experience your life path, with what you've been learning from your practice in terms of connecting with your loving self, your experience in learning the difference between what is an egregore and what is an influence or an external factor that is interfering with your life, and what is in support of your life, learning the difference between what is actually essentially good and what is not. And in a way, it's a type of hard call, you could say, where it's basically drawing you to this point of conclusion where you're trying to see what is going on with the energy around you. This is just a peek into the energy itself and sharing with you what I've come to see, observe. And of course, for those of you that are interested in this, in the work on this channel, on the Promethean channel, I would advise you to click on the notification bell icon so that you know when I post videos, because I don't post regularly. So that just for on a side note, and also to please like, share, and subscribe to the information in itself. Yes, it is a very controversial channel. Yes, it is very unique in itself. Yes, it is. So is you. You are unique being here on this channel. And as you know, the information that we're discussing or that we're sharing here is related to information that will serve you, or you choose not to accept it. It isn't entirely up to you. So your choice, your free will in having a choice, is always available to you. We are looking at the frequency of what is the difference between the original creative force and what is not. We are looking at people, places or things that are essentially tracking through a narrative to try and bring down or discourage or basically to drop your energy down so that you're unable to function in the way that you would love to function in. We're looking at these types of things that are also hurtful to you. I wanted to say it's easy just to point it out to a person who is practicing witchcraft, but essentially, what is there other than those that are conjurers to draw a lot of those that have passed away, their spirits, to them to be their lackeys, so to speak. And this does hurt people, that people do these types of things to hurt another person because they seek whatever they seek. But it's not just those people that are abusing their abilities. We're talking about the bigger picture here. We're looking at the difference between an original creative force and its emanations, plus that which is countering or counterfeiting the emanations in themselves. And we also know that what is discussed here is it establishes a frequency that changes that particular thing. So when we talk about these things, yes, the intention is that whatever is being discussed here, that it is to be of service, to be of assistance, but to never be thieved from. Much like what this entity or being or group of people or egregore is doing. As it is, the entire year they've been knocked down quite heavily by a lot of your self-love. Your self-love has essentially knocked them down so badly that they had literally become completely dysfunctional. And so when you then sent their energy back to them, you sent their psychic attacks back to them, you said return to sender, and you did a lot of that work. Many of you have experienced it in weird senses and weird ways. What has happened was they had received back the toxic poison that had been sent out to try and discourage you, or to disown you from your original path. Their intention was to do that. Yes, it is the agency of air. Yes, it is the agency of or the principalities of the air. Yes, you can call it whatever you want to call it. I'm just calling it an imposter, because that is just what is up with these people. They are people that have no boundaries. They have absolutely zero loyalty to themselves, and those are the type of people that are the cannon fodder for that spirit to find its way and to try and dislodge you from your pathway. First thing that's very important is to know that you are in control of your life path. You own your life path. Your life path is your right to exist. You are in control of making the choices in this life path, and you are able to push through what it is that you are meant to learn for yourself. The difference between you and a person with zero boundaries is the person with no boundaries is a person who runs after everything, wants everything to be just a particular way for themselves, wishes to be in absolute control over you, which they consider to be chaotic, versus them being order. And so the birthing of the ideology of the New World Order has come about and has been used quite a lot over the many years, for a long time. And yet what this element has in common with the spirit that seeks to completely dislodge the frequency of wholeness is that it operates only on 10 legs of a tree, 10 horns of a beast, however you want to call it. It is quite a radicalized element in itself that is being projected through magical practices to try and draw you away from yourself, from your family, to try and to come like a thief in the night and to come and pester your consciousness. There is a point in time where you are actually aware of who you are. You are operating in a whole state. You are operating in a loving space. You're doing kind things, and then suddenly some weird shit happens and you can't explain it. And that is the type of thing that I'm trying to bring to your attention. What is the actuality of this entity that you're dealing with? Which means in the shadow of your light, this is where this element resides. In the shadow of the loving bond that you have with the original creative force, there is it in the shadows. Now, the most important thing to be mindful of is the original creative force is like light, okay? As a frequency, it shines. Imagine a torch and you're shining the light over your garden. Wherever your light resides, on leaves, on rocks, on trees, on weird bugs and things like that, it creates a frequency for you to see. Oh, that is the wing of a bug, or that is the head of a toad, or that is the shine of a leaf as you shine the light over it. And so wherever this light is moving, so wherever you go with your wholeness, your energy, your whole state, and I'm talking to those who have been working very hard on themselves, to you who have been working very hard on yourself in bringing the self-love in, that while you move through this process, you will see in the circles that you move in how it comes out in the shadows. You will find something in the shadow that does not resemble a thing that you know. It is a thing that is foreign to you. It seeks to draw out your energy like taking nectar from a flower. So it emulates you. This spirit seeks a person that could be close to you, whatever, and imitates your energy back to you, so that you are then essentially trusting, which is the first contract, and then building that bond, which is the next part of that contract. And so that allows the bridge for that entity to then come into your energy field and drain you out of your energy, to basically drain you. So, and remember, a while ago I had said to you, you need to become rogue. You need to become completely an energy that is unable to be copied or replicated in any particular way. Now I can see that there's a lot of people that have been trying to do to work on self-love, to work on self-empowerment, to become completely sovereign within their consciousness, and unfortunately there's been it's a recipe that is being replicated a lot over time, especially coming from certain places or people that are very unique in themselves. So they're being tapped, as you know. Back in the day, they used to go to these people, these children, and draw them in and create MK Ultra slaves out of them. Then they put them in all different forms. So you can see this parasitic imposter being, energy, entity, thing, whatever you want to call it, a gees, trying to project into your energy. It's trying to exchange a role with you. And so, of course, others who talk their mouth off about certain people, whoever they are, if it's someone that's a leader in a community or whatever, and it's a derogatory manner, even though most people know that John did something good, someone just doesn't like John. But meanwhile, back at the ranch, John probably discarded Sarah's sexual advances, and she's now bitter and she's spreading the rumors. So that is the type of thing that is a nasty sort of thing that comes through, that keeps birthing itself through certain people and in their behavior. So it's an extreme obsessed focus on your energy that is literally the only thing that they live for. These people with no boundaries focus on you all the time. It's their life purpose. So if you're getting people in your life, they don't have to sit in a little room to monitor you 24 hours out of the day. They are obsessed with you. Some people are being paid for that job. Other people are just like that. They can't stop thinking about you. It could be an ex that you've had. It could be any of those sort of things. So that is, you know, if you just think about it for a second. If you are an enemy, the best way to get into another person's camp is to imitate them, to get into their camp, and then to behave like them, and then to take them out destroy them like you would destroy an apple from the inside out. And that is essentially why I said that tree that is mentioned or was mentioned before, and I will bring it up here, is the Sephirotic tree. The tree of Kabbalah is the main element, the main root that is used for conjuring certain things up to create a disturbance in the field within where you reside. And some people may not be practicing Kabbalah. Some people may be practicing something else, or they are just plain obsessed with your energy, and that Kabbalistic element comes through, like we've discussed before, and it's been brought up before in another video, where I explained to you the image of the serpent that goes up and goes down. There's this cubical state of consciousness. In other words, their frequency is that driven, that they become part of that entity that has its origin from that tree. In other words, remember now the story about the pen. The pen is just a building. It is just a symbol. And the symbol becomes weaponized when there is enough believers in the power of the pen. The story about the Kabbalah is only a symbol for which was originally a twisted version or rendition of an original communication of a oral teaching. And the oral teaching, because some were practicing Kabbalah, those who were practicing the original teachings were feeling threatened by these guys that were practicing this new rendition of an oral teaching, which is basically just jealousy and unhappiness and just plain old bitchiness. And they chased these Sephardic people away because they were contaminating the original oral teachings. And this is what's going on now. Your energy, your information, your knowledge, your wisdom, who you are, your identity is highly coveted. Remember I said to you, you have the firstborn right within you, which is you as a first being, as the self. Your firstborn right is to know that you have the freedom to be able to choose, to make a choice, to decide where you go forward or whatever you do. And that information is highly sought after, because how dare you be whole and not involved in the greater good of all. I mean, you're now that person or that woman or that witch that's now going to get burnt on the pile, because you do good, you're an enemy of their state, of who they are. And therefore that in itself creates smaller parts, fractal parts, little bits that break off, that try to go to where you are, to your establishment, and try to break down your establishment from the inside out. Okay, you can see it playing itself out right now. What it's doing is it's essentially touching on the very thing that people would it is presumed that people, or perceived that people's very main focus is on money right now. And money in itself is an energetic tool, again a symbol, the same as what I've just explained to you about the pen and the tree. So much so that its nature of the symbol in itself is shaken to a point where a lot of people are feeling completely destabilized, and that is what they want to have as their perceived order. So now, knowing what we know within this reality, you don't have to accept that. You truly do not have to be in that energy either. I'm not saying turn into an ostrich. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying step back from it and look at the bigger picture. This by far is definitely teaching many people how to observe, how to see things perhaps for the first time in their life, to be able to know how to spot the imposter frequency taking place, along with all the other witchcraft, with the crafts and the knowledge and the stuff that's being manipulated to create more chaos. So essentially, being involved in this reality, it makes you have to do you have to have a certain exchange of energy, or you are completely ostracized out of the system. So it wants you to take part in it. It wants you to become part of it. This entity that has been doing this, that has been autonomously operating in itself, as everyone knows it to be called the devil, is not Satan or Saturn or Lucifer or any of those elements. It is the Yahweh element, the thunder god, that has had its face changed from being Janus to the thunder god Baal, right? Research the name, and in case you want to, take a dig here, the element information as Odin, all right, it's been everywhere. The ruin element in itself is a direct origin from the Kabbalah, Baal, the Baal god, the Yahweh, the whatever, comes from that tree. If you do not understand what I'm saying to you right now, I want you to go back to the video where I discuss the Taurus. Okay. And you will see in the diagrams that I've placed there how you are able to fit that frequency in place, how you are able to establish that. Why am I bringing this up? Because it feels as if there's no awareness as to what's going on. Everyone's saying, who's the devil? The devil is running after me, and the demons, and this, but I don't know who it is. That is the counterfeit God, the imposter God, the thing that was created and venerated as a thing of order, as a thing that creates order by destroying people. And this doesn't mean that I'm telling you that this is some sort of attack against Christianity, because the Yahweh God in itself is an archetype. It is not relative to people who are operating as Christians or Judaic faith or any of that stuff. I'm talking about the archetype element in itself. Okay, so that in itself is the root of the rotten tree that has been used to eat rotten fruit from. The real tree, the original one, the actual living tree that doesn't grow to death or grow into death, but grows into life, eternal life, if you want to go there, is within you. It has always been within you. It is the key to your knowledge. It is the key to your wisdom. That tree doesn't look like a oak tree or a banana tree, whatever you want to call it. The tree of life within you is in the palm of your hand. In other words, how you bring your hand together. It is in your third eye. It is in the temples. It is in your energy field, in your heart. It is who you are. You in itself is actually, you are the tree. You are, each and every one of you is a tree. And how you bring your energy into awareness of that is to understand that I am measured by my fruits of my labor. Do I do bad things to hurt people so that I can get something that I want? Because if you do that, if you didn't believe in karma, you're feeling it right now for those that have been doing that against everyone else. And that is a fact, because you can literally see that the desperation is extreme. The drowning man is drowning hard. He is making it clear to everyone that he is drowning heavily here, and he is trying to grab onto everyone that he can find. Or to know that you have been able to apply the connection within yourself through eternal internal connection, because that is where it says, even in the same book, the Bible, that seek me inside of you. Seek me inside. Go inside. Go within. The kingdom of heaven is within, etc., etc., etc. So Why then is there an external force that is fighting hard, each and every one of you, to try and establish its own order, its own thunderium power, aid, power, hunger, whatever you want to call it, thing? Okay. Impostor God, the God of many faces, the many-faced God, the God of death, the God of lightning, the God of thunder, etc. Zeus who hunted Prometheus and chained him to the rock, later to have Hercules come to free Prometheus from the rock. There are 7 apples that Hercules had to get, and those 7 apples are within you. Apples. Think about it. Think about it metaphysically. I want to say, how is them apples there? But I'm just sharing with you what is actually happening right now. You're dealing with a thing that has got a very heavy following or belief system that has been there for a long time, and the people that are underneath it is operating its agency for it, and it is more visible now. It was the parasite always to begin with within this realm. The aspect is, this world has a rule in itself. It operates as an exchange of energy. Whatever you give, you receive, and that is this realm's purpose. With what it is put in place, that is a different story, because you can give and receive in a bad way or in a good way, however you want to look at it. You can become involved in any of those things in a good way or a bad way, and you can change the entire element structure of this realm, which we have seen has happened. Then we also know that before the information has come out in this video, that there has been quite a heavy drive to try and prevent, and I'm going to tell you directly, to try and prevent me from speaking to you about the information that I'm telling you right now, by actually attacking my throat, which I'm pointing out to you, as you know. The stifling of information, the stifling of wisdom, even though the channel is, as an appearance, very small, I actually think there's only that many people. There's not that many people in the world anyway, and that the whole idea about saying that there's that many people and that the world is too small is bullshit, because it has been proven that it is bigger than you think it is. So what is now being birthed in its place in all of this? Well, what's being birthed in its place is the fact that, number one, the original creative force is and always was and always will be and always shall be until eternity the original creative force of all things that are either alive and goes through the natural process of to death, for that to return back to its origin again. That is that. There's that. Then there's the thing that believes itself or thinks itself to be that thing. And that thing is called the Yahweh, or the Thunder God, or the Baal God, or the Odin, or the thing from the Gnostics, that thing with the lion head. It is only a partial of that. So in itself, men and women have believed that that thing had more power in its presence because it had presented itself in physical way through people who have no boundaries within themselves. And that is how that parasite had had grown in a medium that is just ripe for that thing to function within. And it still is. So then, along with that thing came a model to serve in its place, a model space that has 10 horns, or 10 things, 10 branches, 10 legs of a 7-headed beast. I wonder if you now are putting the numbers together and seeing that it actually is the Sephiroth tree. It is the ending of that tree as we speak, because in its place is a living tree which is unique in each and everyone's existence in this world. And that is the tree where you are involved in being able to connect with the original creative story or the creator's story, where you are directly involved in connecting with the original creative force and its frequency coming through you, and you are learning to understand what is the serpent in your mind, what is Adam and what is Eve inside of you, the masculine and the feminine, the tree that comes from the heart. And that is who you are. You are a walking Eden being, which is the origin and an emanation of the original creative force. And if you are a person who don't like me, who does not like the people on this channel, you're not part of that thing. So either go away or just disappear, because that's what happens to imposters. They are unmasked because there's a lot of them there, and they are being presented like the emperor with no clothes. And there you go. There is a nude fest of lots of plenty naked emperors around, running around and drowning at the same time. So this is what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the tearing away of two trees, of a thing that is true to its original print in itself, imprint in itself, within those that are loving themselves, truly loving themselves, not pretending to love themselves, because you are measured and weighed, and you have zero impact on people that are actually true to themselves. So you do disappear, you go into some sort of vacuum space, and that's where you reside until your energy becomes recirculated and taken back in and used for something like maybe a rock or a tree, because that is what happens. Okay. And then we have the false man-made tree, which has structures and zero space for any original being to exist within. In fact, if you take the tree of Kabbalah and you fold it into, and you create a cube, and you put people inside of the cube, and they actually have on there, I'm talking about other some sites that say that they actually have the tree of Kabbalah as the cube in which the soul resides. Then to make it even better, to give this thing wings, to make it like more sellable to you, they tell you that it becomes a Merkaba, which is a vehicle. That is another form of the same thing. And if you believe in those things, then you have a problem. If you believe in it and you think nothing is wrong with it, then that's okay. Be where you are. You do you. Okay? So this is what is going on. This is why the frequency in this realm is so extreme right now, because this is busy happening. Because the more you become aware of who you are, the more you love yourself, the more you are aware that you are embodying the living tree. There is no such thing as the chosen one either, because no one is more important than the other, but each and every one is unique to themselves. It's like fingerprints on a hand. Not every fingerprint is the same, but all the fingers on the hand are important, and yet each one performs a different function. And that is how you need to see that. It is not a socialistic order. It is also not a type of democratic thing either. It is also not a conservative thing. It's got no political associations to it. It is merely being in control of absolutely all of who you are, for what you are, and being able to go and live your life without harm, to function in the way that you are meant to function. Perhaps all of this chaos had to happen for a reason. Perhaps all of this has had to happen so that people are now finally aware that actually, you can have a life of misery 100 years ago, or you can actually have a life that is fairly balanced, because you're just trying to learn to educate your kids, and your kids teach themselves about how to go through life. Yes, there's going to be suffering. Suffering is never gone. Otherwise, you violate the nature of this realm. There is life and death as well. People grow old and they die, and their bodies return to the soil, and what happens after that is up to them. The rest, the information is very presentable in this channel. There are, for those of you who have just come on as new people, please welcome. If you need to know how to find yourself, how to learn to become master of your own life, of who you are, that means you are able to heal the beliefs or to break away from beliefs and things. There's a lot of material on this channel that you can work with. What I want to share with you is to basically take away that, learn to understand who and what the original creative force is to you. Because the relationship that you have with this energy is personal. It's never going to be an external rah-rah balloons and candles and stuff like that and crackers. It's not going to be like that ever. Because where else is the kingdom other than within you? So that is probably the most important thing that got slipped into that book. Thank goodness that people can actually address within themselves the kingdom of the devil or the kingdom of heaven. Heaven or hell. Okay. Who lives in the heaven? Who lives in the heavens? What resides in your heavens? What resides in your temple? Where do you go to connect? How do you connect? It is the same story, it's the same information. I'm presenting to you with a little bit more definition to it so that you're able to understand what's actually going on. Nurture that tree inside of you, the living tree. The living tree, which is the tree that has many fruits, the tree that you are able to eat from, live from, and you will learn more knowledge. Yes, you're meant to do that. You're meant to do that. You're not by doing this in the interpretation of the archetype of Baal. It said that if you do this, you're fucked. You're out of the kingdom. I'm saying to you, do the opposite. Eat from the fruit inside of you. Bond the masculine and the feminine within yourself. Learn, I can create and I can receive. I can create, and I can receive. Masculine, feminine, heart, seed of the tree, inside of me. And that is how you will bring yourself out of a realm that is collapsing, of an old order and a new one and an old one, etc. Blah, 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 blah. And it just goes on and on and on. It's the same story. There's no change. That's the one dead giveaway, is there's nothing new under the sun, because they don't have new things under the sun. They don't know how to create new things. Only you do. Only the original creative force does. And when you're engaging in that frequency, when you're engaging with that purity of love and actually clearing up your act, your life path, your life, your love, whoever you are, you take it one day at a time, you are then able to understand and feel that connection. It is falling. Yes, they are falling. Yes, it is drowning. Yes, there is a collapse internally, imploding. So much so they have to open up doors to portals to try and get help, from dead ones who are not with them anymore anyway. Those dead ones have left. They've all gone back to where they come from. Those have redeemed themselves and have found to be pardoned and have left the scene. Those that have died, those who were in the spirit, they have all left and gone back to where they were supposed to go. This is why the weather was strange, the weather was weird. When there's a lot of heavily spirit activity, the weather changes as well. Keep that in mind. It's not just all human manipulation or predictions either. So I thought I'd leave with you a few snippets, a few shiny little things to focus on, to think about, and to remember. I wasn't meant to talk this long, but I'm just leaving it with you. I hope that this has given you some guidance, and you're not losing your mind. And while it's all falling, the living tree is growing. Therefore, that which falls away makes way. The brambles are pushed away, burnt with fire, so that it is cleanly burnt, that area, so that you can plant your trees there, you can plant your seeds there, and you can function in a whole sovereign manner in consciousness. It's up to you to decide where you want to go in that